So Republican Party did that.
It's over here.
Yeah, I've been
Go back and
working
forth.
on that between work and trying to get it ready. So it's like, because then I got an event on Saturday. Then I
So,
have an event
Michelle, you
Saturday.
filling in
So it's
for
like
David,
Thursday and Saturday.
Sandy,
And then I'm working on weight.
all three,
Kelly.
and all three tonight?
Yeah, I do.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here. What do you need me to do?
I might need some lawyer advice.
Oh, now I can't do that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I may have to mute him though. I didn't realize Sandy wasn't gonna be here.
I didn't know that either.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm off the hook.
I think you were to start out with. Pretty sure of it.
I don't know legal jargon.
Then we get sat down and we'll start. You wanna just stay standing and I'll get started? I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Kingston City Council to order. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand. Mr. Brown, if you'd lead us in invocation. Ms. Stockton, if you'd lead us to pledge the flag, please.
Our Heavenly Father, again, we come to you with grateful hearts, thanking you for the opportunity to be here tonight and to do the business of the city of Kingston. Be with us as we make these decisions. Be with the sick and the afflicted and the homebound. You know their needs and help them. And most of all, we want to give you praise for your Son who died for us on the cross to wash away all of our sins, because we know that most of us are sinful people, and we appreciate everything that you as our Father in heaven have done for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Councilmember Brown,
Present.
Councilmember Childs,
Present.
Councilmember Griffiths, Vice Mayor Humphries,
present.
Councilmember Stockton,
Present.
Councilmember Wright, Mayor Neal.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Now do I hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written? Motion by Mr. Childs, or a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Humphries. Do you see any corrections or deletions to the minutes?
No.
Madam Clerk, call the roll on the minutes, please.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries,
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye. Now we have time set aside for citizens. If any citizens wish to come and come before the city council, please come up here to the microphone and state your name and address and where you live.
Say something?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Ronnie Baggett, live in the city of Kingston. Just wanted to mention about the, do I have to go to the microphone?
It'd be better. That way everybody can hear you on TV.
TV?
Yeah.
Can I rescind my request? I just wanted to come, my name's Ronnie Baggett I live in Kingston, Tennessee. Just wanted to voice my opinion about the possibility of pickleball courts, and I know it probably is not on the agenda for today, but just wanted to see
We'll talk
if it's a
about it.
possibility. Okay. And just if we're here, just in case you have any questions, but,
Well, I think Ms. Humphries, in her report in a little while, will give us what the recommendation was for Park and Rec Committee.
Okay.
And it, like we said before, it's gonna be a couple months down the road before we can get, everybody
yeah,
here to
aligned.
do it. So,
Yeah.
we're planning on putting on next month's agenda and taking care of
That
things.
sounds good. We just want to be here just to support and answer any questions that y'all may have, so it won't be delayed. So we're going to try to be here each time you have a meeting
Okay.
about it.
All right.
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to?
Appreciate you being here.
Oh, sorry.
Just saying, appreciate we
Oh,
him
yeah.
in here.
Does anyone else want to address the council? Seeing none, we're going to reports. I'll start, Ms. Humphries, do you have anything to report?
Yes, as Mr. Baggett mentioned, the Park and Rec Board met Thursday night, and we did hear from several of the people there in support of the pickleball versus the pickleball and tennis courts, and the board unanimously voted to make them specifically pickleball courts. And that is their recommendation. And then also, which it will be coming up, I think, later on, but about the board seats, we discussed that also, so we can get into that later.
Okay. Mr. Childs, do you have anything?
I've had several comments about the sidewalk again. I had to bring that up, and the lighting looks really good. Like I said, several people. And also had a couple people that's come up and asking about maybe some more playground stuff at the city park. That's something to maybe put up, we can look into. That's all.
Ms. Stockton, do you have anything to report?
I do know.
You know. Mr. Brown?
No.
The only thing I have to report, as I want to report, is I think that the red lights are finally started to work correctly, and with all the work we've done on those, so that's a good plus. I'm going to turn it over now. The city manager's on the phone. He's not with us tonight. If he's got anything to report or any questions we have for him. Mr. Bowling?
Thank you, Mayor. I had just a couple things here. One, to continue on what you said about the traffic lights, they do seem to be working well. We've had a couple issues that we brought to their attention, some fine tuning, but if you notice anything or you get any complaints, let us know, because they're good to come back in, and like I said, we may have to tweak it a little bit, but all in all, I think everything's going really well with that. So we're definitely glad to see that. You saw an email. You should have seen an email from me, I guess late last week, that we have received our ARC grant for the improvements to Ladd Park. We don't have a contract or anything yet, but we have been awarded $661,896. Of course, that's a 50-50 grant. We'll have to come up with a match, but the good news is normally we wouldn't qualify for a grant like that. Secondly, we got more than they normally award. So don't know when we'll get that opportunity again. I gave you some ideas in my email about some ways to fund that match, and if there's no objection, I'll be putting that on the agenda workshop for next month, and we can talk about that further. The only other issue I have, just wanted to give you an update. One of the things that has been a long time coming, but our new fire truck is ready ahead of schedule. We didn't expect it this soon, but it'll be ready to pick up, I believe, August 22nd. They'll be going down to get that, so we'll be glad to get that in and get that in service, and I think that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for the city manager?
David, or the fire truck is good news, but just on the horizon, understand that we're going to have to replace another fire truck in the next 2 to 3 years?
Maybe. I know that the ladder truck will be probably the next one. Obviously, it has very little use, but I'm not 100% sure on the timing on that. But I know that eventually it will be the next one that needs replaced, but I'm not completely confident on when that will have to happen.
Thank you. Before we get too far along, I want to thank all the employees and all the volunteers that helped for the 4th of July this year. Seemed like everything went real well. Had a lot of good compliments about it, so I want to thank everyone that helped to do that. All right, item 7 is addition of items to the meeting agenda received after the close of the agenda deadline. I've not received any. There is no unfinished business, so I'll go straight into new business. Item A is consideration to approve the first reading of ordinance 2207-1201, an ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of Kingston, Tennessee by rezoning property from R1 residential district to R2 residential district. This has gone through the planning commission and they have approved it.
Move for the adoption.
Motion by Mr. Brown. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Childs. Mr. Brown?
This is a piece of property that's adjoining what we did last month, so it's just they just purchased another piece of property, and that makes it continuous as far as the zoning is concerned.
Mr. Childs?
Nothing, sir.
Anyone else? Madam Clerk, call the roll on that ordinance, please.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries,
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Item B is consideration to approve resolution 2207-1201, a resolution authorizing the city of Kingston to participate in the Public Entity Partner Safety Partners Matching Grant.
Make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Stockton, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Humphries. Ms. Stockton?
It's just something that we would be able to get some money back on.
Ms. Humphries?
No.
Council? Madam Clerk, call the roll on that resolution.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries,
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Item C is consideration to approve resolution 2207-1202, a resolution authorizing the city of Kingston to participate in the Public Entity Partners James L. Richardson Driver Safety Matching Grant.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Childs, second by Ms. Stockton. Mr. Childs?
Nothing.
No.
Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries,
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
5 ayes.
One more tonight. Consider to approve resolution 2207-1203, a resolution authorizing the city of Kingston to participate in the Public Entity Partners Property Conservation Matching Grant.
Make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Stockton, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Humphries. Ms. Stockton?
Nothing.
Ms. Humphries?
No.
Madam Clerk, oh, Mr. Brown.
Did I miss this one at the work session?
I think when we had it in the work session, they all three were in one line item.
They were.
They
Okay.
were.
And
Then
that's-
who gets to apply for this one then? Property with perils.
Anybody in the city, it's based on, anything to make any kind of facilities secure, like outside cameras, lighting, anything like that we've already done. It's basically a reimbursement.
And that's a matching grant. We know what the match is. Is that city does some and they do
It's
some?
basically reimbursement. It's usually up to $4,000 and we get $2,000 back on stuff that we've already purchased.
So if I need to put security cameras at my house
Well, not in your house.
or business, maybe not house, maybe my business or something?
Yeah, any kind of fencing, security, anything to,
Okay. Have we ever had this before?
yeah, we get it every year.
Okay. We ever use it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nothing else?
Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries,
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Mr. Mayor, if I could interrupt real quick, just to expand on Councilmember Brown's question, if I understood him correctly, this grant's just for city property. It's not for private property. It wouldn't apply to private property.
Good,
Thank you, sir.
Item E is consideration to authorize the city manager to initiate professional services for the application of gateway signage not to exceed $20,000.
Make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Stockton, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Stockton?
This is just one of those projects that the beautification just wanted to try to get kick-started on a interstate sign, a gateway sign. And this is just a company that's given us some examples just to be able to bring back to the council.
Ms. Humphries?
No.
Anyone else? Mr. Brown?
I've just got some questions. I guess, is it one sign and one sign only?
Well, it would be one sign for, that would be at the interstate, but we also asked them, and that would be part of the meeting, if they can propose, a both east and westbound exit to have one sign. So 352 with potential of having two, if that's within, a budget of being able to complete two.
So, I guess I'm just kind of confused. I thought it was going over next to Calvary when it came up 2 or 3 months ago, but now I understand that it's going to be that if I'm passing on the interstate before the 352 on state property, we're proposing a sign.
Before 352 heading east.
And not one coming west.
That's what we're we asked them if they would propose both, but on the examples, it did not have both on it. And those were just examples that they sent us.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's part of the meeting that we would have, but we would even like them to include, Galahar as, that exit as another
And
additional.
that's where I
Yeah.
was getting
Mhm.
from the city limits, if we're gonna do it, is at Galahar instead of at the 352.
It wasn't, but we asked them, 352 is the first sign that if we were only able to do one, we would say 352 obviously would be your first one, but we asked them, would it be possible for us to have just the same sign that it would meet state requirements to be put on the drawing for each location? So that would be 2 at 352 and 1 at the Galahar exit.
And the estimated cost of each sign, we don't know yet because we've not got a design yet.
Exactly.
And did we ever get our money from the Chamber of Commerce that was go towards signs?
No, no, we've not, but I will have a letter written and request that funds.
And who's going to take care of this? Who's going to be in charge of it? Is this a city function or the Kingston group?
This is a beautification. This would be city. Yeah, I mean it would be a council decision. Yeah, it's
So
not.
the city manager will be overseeing construction, signing contracts, and doing everything.
Yes.
And the $20,000 is, we don't even know if they can design it for $20,000 because we say up to.
Mm-hmm.
And if we throw another sign in it, and they have to survey 3 sites now instead of 1, maybe 3 sites.
And that would be the point of the meeting, to see what's possible within a budget, because they said that they would work with us.
And where is this $20,000 coming from initially? Which line items it coming out of?
That'd be a city manager question.
Mr. Bowling, can you?
I move we postpone this till the work session. There's just, I think there's just way too many questions that's not answered. I wouldn't care to go ahead and try to see the permits, and that last packet was very informative that Councilwoman Stockton gave us, that had what we could do and what we couldn't do. And I noted on that I don't know if the regulations have changed, but correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Stockton. It said that there couldn't be any water features or any lighted features.
There's only certain lighted features that are approved, but there cannot be a water feature. There can't be. I mean, it's got everything listed on
And
the do's and
where
don'ts.
I'm coming from, I was out of town this last weekend at
Mhm.
some ball tournaments. Mount Juliet
Mhm.
is putting one up as we speak,
Yes.
and it's right at an overpass. And it's going, I didn't pay any attention going westbound, but when I came back going eastbound, they were working on it.
Mhm.
And it looks like it's got some reflective lights, ground cover lights shining up, and it looks like it's in stone, it's one level,
Mhm.
which the design doesn't make any difference to me, but it's got Mount Juliet, and it's at that Mount Juliet exit, which they're not like us, it's got 3 or 4, they've only got the 1. So I liked theirs.
Mhm.
Didn't know if the state, I thought maybe we could go to them and say, let's just see your application
Mhm.
to see how hard or easy it was, but I think there's just a lot of questions that need to be asked about it, especially since tonight we find out that it could be that the group may be recommending 3 signs, when at the work session, I thought it was only 1. That's
So
my motion.
You have a motion to table this until next month.
Is that the table to next month?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second.
I have a motion second to table it. Madam Clerk, will you call roll on the motion to table it? Or wait a minute.
You
before
have to
do it.
call the roll on the first one.
No, the motion to table it first.
She
That
made a
doesn't come
motion,
up.
I seconded it.
Table it overrides it. 1 second before you call the roll. So Ms. Stockton, you're talking about a meeting with Ms. Johnson Architecture, is that right?
It is, and it's not at any time as on the meeting. It's not, a check is not gonna be issued at that time. The meeting is to be able to, see what they can provide at the amount of money. And that's the reason why the city manager was saying not to exceed 20,000, because we were trying to go at a low end, because they were working with us on the pricing of it.
Any way we can get that meeting in the next couple of weeks?
I asked the city manager that question today, and he said, depending on what this decision was tonight, whether or not he was going to ask that question, because he didn't want to waste his time if it did not pass tonight.
In order to table.
Mayor, I think, you know, we can certainly set up a meeting. You know, we've had a couple with them already. They're, you know, I don't know, they may bill us for that meeting. I don't know, but I didn't want to get too involved until we saw where this was going. I know that they estimated this to be between 15 to 20,000 for the design and permitting. I don't know for sure. I know we talked about maybe putting multiple signs in the permit, but I don't know for a fact that that's what that price includes. We can find that information out. But I think the thought would be that if we went that route, you know, we would apply for all three, get permitted for all three, even if, you know, only one got built right now. At least the approval would be there. We wouldn't have to go through the process multiple times. I think that was kind of the engineer's thought on it. But yeah, we can set up a meeting and come back. But they seem pretty confident that you know, to expect the cost to get us to permitting would be in the $15,000 to $20,000. That does not include any construction type cost.
Did that include the surveying of course it couldn't?
Yes.
So I
Yes,
think we need to
that
find
would be
out.
the survey and the design and the work to actually do the permit.
Yeah. And do they realize that now it's 3 signs instead of 1? Evidently,
Well,
they
we
knew
talked
about
to
it.
them about that, and I don't know, you know, when we had our initial conversation, we talked about, you know, we talked about doing 1 and applying for 3 for the permitting. So I don't know if they have included that in the price or not. That's an answer I'll have to have. I'm also not sure. You asked a question about me overseeing this project, and I could be wrong, but I'm not sure that we don't have to have an engineer oversee it, or a contractor, but I could be wrong about that. But those will all be things I have to find out.
Yeah, I'm just afraid that the $20,000 is not going to be enough to survey 3 sites is what I'm after, and do the engineering work. That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, if we could get that down, that is all 3 in that process. I mean, I'm all for the signage. I mean, I've been 8 years been saying that. I'd like to see it, but I want to make sure, because I don't want to come up and we owe $60,000 because we've got 3 sites now. But if that's all 3 of them in with that, like I said, I'm for it.
Because if you put one just, you know, working with the state, and David can attest to this, just when we had to patch the hole where the water leak was at, that we had to go through all kind of hoops and stuff because we were on their property fixing their road that we caused. But, you know, at the one that Ms. Stockton talked about originally was probably the easiest one.
Mm-hmm.
Access, construction. And when we get up on Galahar, I guarantee you they're going to make you go through a process of safety and a safety plan, or the engineer's going to take care of all that, because we'll be working so close. I don't know how much right of way it will take that they will let us have that's not involved with the drainage when we get actually on the interstate, is where I'm coming from too. Because like I said, I think the first one we talked about, you know, that's probably the easiest one because there's more property there.
Right here,
It-
352.
Is that something I can ask? On the 20,000, as far as not to, we have been trying to work with engineers to help us at a very low cost, and delaying just even a meeting that's going to be billed because we haven't passed this tonight is something that would be a shame where we have a group that's gonna help oversee this project. That's my thoughts on it.
It just seems to me like there's still a lot of questions that I'd like to get from these guys in order to make sure we go the right route. And I kind of agree with Councilmember Childs, if it goes to 60,000 for all 3 signs,
Mhm.
see what all it covers in the whole thing.
Has your group looked at these photos that they submitted, Ms. Stockton?
Yes, we have.
Have y'all?
Come with a recommendation. We had a meeting last night that we had a recommendation. But at the same time, this had not been passed, so I didn't bring it up. I mean, the recommendation that they had is
Have
to,
you got a preference?
well, I mean,
That number 2 sign looks really nice, I think.
the thing that on the signage is having the height of the one that is 8 foot high, and then having the width as well. It allowed you to be able to get the biggest bang for your buck because you went like 20 feet in width and height of 8. And it's not the smaller, taller one that is almost 12 feet high.
That's number 4.
No, I think it's the first one.
Number 4 is 11 foot 6 inches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not the one that, yeah,
Yeah,
just
but I-
because it's so small on the letters.
I started to say you couldn't hardly see it.
Yeah.
And then that Kingston with that protruding arm.
Yeah, it would look
that
very
could be
nice.
That'd be dangerous.
Or something for somebody,
Sure.
maintenance problem mowing around it is what I looked at, but that,
Right.
You know, number 3, I like the tri-stars on it, it just looked like a stair step, but number 2, like I say, in my opinion, just looked, but y'all may come up with something else, but number 2 just looked like it was more uniform, I really
Yeah.
like the tri-stars.
Like, that's kind of what they're going with on the bridges now.
Is there any further discussion? If not, Madam Clerk, call the roll to table this until next month, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
5 ayes.
Item F is consideration appointments to fill 2 expired terms on the Park and Recreation Commission for the terms beginning 7/1/22 and expiring 6/30/26. Ms. Humphries.
At the Park and Rec Board meeting the other night, we discussed this, and as I told you all before, one of the seats that's becoming vacant is that one of Keenan Heathcote, and he reapplied again, and they did recommend that he be reappointed. The other seat, since we had gone back to the previous applicants and Ms. Hedrick had decided that she was still interested, the board recommended that since she was one of the first ones to apply, that she get the appointment. Denise Hedrick.
So you'll put that in the form of a motion.
Yes.
Second.
And there's a second by Mr. Childs. Any further discussion on the fill of 2 expired terms? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
5 ayes.
Item G is consideration to approve the dispatch agreement with Roane County Emergency Communications District for the fiscal year 22 and 23.
Move for the adoption.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Brown, second by Mr. Childs for the agreement with Roane County Emergency Communications. Do we have any discussion on that? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
5 ayes.
Nothing else on the agenda. This meeting's adjourned. And we'll go straight into the regular meeting of the Kingston Beer Board. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll for the Beer Board?
Member Brown?
Present.
Member Childs?
Present.
Member Griffiths? Vice Chair Humphries?
Present.
Member Stockton?
Present.
Member Wright? Chairman Neal?
Present. Do you hear a motion to approve the previous minutes?
Make a motion.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
A motion by Mr. Childs, second by Ms. Humphries. Madam Clerk, call the roll on the minutes, please.
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member Childs?
Yes.
Vice Chair Humphries?
Yes.
Member Stockton?
Yes.
Chairman Neal?
Aye.
5 ayes.
Nothing to come in front of the Beer Board tonight. That meeting's adjourned. So now we'll go straight into the regular meeting of the Kingston Water Board. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll for the Water Board?
Member Brown?
Present.
Member Childs?
Present.
Member Griffiths, Vice Chair Humphries,
Present.
Member Stockton,
Present.
Member Wright, Chairman Neal.
Present. To hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written?
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Stockton, second by Mr. Childs. Do you see any corrections or deletions to the minutes?
No.
Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll on the minutes, please.
Member Brown,
Yes.
Member Childs,
Yes.
Vice Chair Humphries,
Yes.
Member Stockton,
Yes.
Chairman Neal.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Do we have any citizens wishing to address the water board tonight? Already passed the beer board. Seeing none, I'll go into the city manager's report. Mr. Bowling?
Thank you, Mayor. I only really have one thing in addition to my written report. I just wanted to take a minute to commend Michelle and Kevin for a great job that they did. As you all know, we've been in a very challenging year fiscally. The problems we've had with inflation, significant increases in literally everything that we've had to purchase has been very, very difficult to deal with, and a lot of utilities didn't fare as well as we did. But we were facing a situation just as short as a couple months ago when we were about $200,000 in the red. And according to the latest numbers, obviously, we're not audited yet, but our year-end numbers, because Michelle and Kevin worked so hard to control spending and make sure that we focused on our priorities, we were able to finish with a healthy surplus in the black. And to accomplish that this year has really been an amazing accomplishment. And, that's going to make sure that not only do we stay in good fiscal health, do we meet the requirements that the state's looking at us to do, but also that surplus is going to help us as we have to start fronting some of the expenses for the ARPA projects. So just wanted to give them a pat on the back on that. They did a great job and really helped us through a difficult time. And that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Anyone have any questions for the utility director? All right, seeing none, we're going to new business. Item 1 is consideration to approve an agreement between the City of Kingston and Watts Bar Utility District for the treatment of wastewater. Do you hear a motion for this agreement?
Move we
Motion.
adopt.
Motion by Ms. Stockton, second by Mr. Brown. Ms. Stockton? Mr. Brown?
No.
Members? Seeing none, ma'am, would you please call the roll to approve this agreement between us and Watts Bar Utility District?
Member Brown,
Yes.
Member Childs,
Yes.
Vice Chair Humphries,
Yes.
Member Stockton,
Yes.
Chairman Neal.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Is there anything else to come before the water board tonight? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.